The 7.5 cm Pak 40, 7,5 cm Panzerabwehrkanone 40, was a German 75 mm anti-tank gun developed in 1939 to 1941 by Rheinmetall and used during the Second World War. With 23,303 examples produced, the Pak 40 formed the backbone of German anti-tank guns for the latter part of World War II, mostly in towed form, but also on a number of tank destroyers such as the Marder series. A modified version of the gun designed specifically for vehicle mounting was the 7.5 cm KWK-40, which differed primarily in using more compact ammunition, thereby allowing more rounds to be carried inside the vehicles. The KWK-40 armed many of the German mid-war tank and destroyer designs, replacing the Pak 40 in the latter role. Depending on the source, the Pak 40 may be referred to as the 7.5/L46, referring to the barrel's length in calibers. There were two versions of the KWK-40, which would be referred to as the 7.5/L43 or 7.5/L48. Development of the Pak 40 began after reports of new Soviet tank designs began to reach Berlin in 1939. The 5 cm Pak 38 was still in testing at this point, but it appeared it would not be powerful enough to deal with these newer designs. Contracts were placed with Krupp and Rheinmetall to develop what was essentially a 7.5 cm version of the Pak 38. However, while the Pak 38 made extensive use of light alloys to reduce overall gun weight, these were now earmarked for Luftwaffe. As a result, the Pak 40 used steel throughout its construction and was proportionally heavier than the 5 cm model. To simplify production, the Pak 38's curved gun shield was replaced by one using 3 flat plates. The project was initially given low priority, but following the invasion of the USSR in 1941 and the appearance of heavily armored Soviet tanks such as the T-34 and KV-1, it was given an increased priority. The first pre-production guns were delivered in November 1941. In April 1942, the Wehrmacht had 44 guns in service. By 1943, the Pak 40 formed the bulk of German anti-tank artillery. Operational use. The Pak 40 was the standard German anti-tank gun until the end of the war, and was supplied by Germany to its allies. Some captured guns were used by the Red Army. After the war, the Pak 40 remained in service in several European armies, including Albania, Bulgaria, Czechoslovakia, Finland, Norway, Hungary, and Romania. 23,303 Pak 40s were produced, and about 3,500 more were used to arm tank destroyers. The unit manufacturing cost amounted to 2,200 man-hours at 12,000 Rm. A lighter automatic weapon system version incorporating a 12-round magazine, the heaviest of the Bordkanone series of heavy-caliber aircraft guns, was used as the Bk 7,5 in the Henschel HS-129B3 and the Junkers Ju-88P1 ground attack aircraft, and even intended as a production fitment for a possible He-177A3/R5 heavy bomber adaptation late in 1942, originally prototyped in the field with Bk-5 cannons, themselves adapted from the 5 cm KWK-39 tank gun from the Panzer III. Performance. The weapon was effective against almost every Allied tank until the end of the war, only struggling to penetrate heavier vehicles like the Russian IS tanks, the American M4A3E2 Sherman Jumbo and M26 Pershing, and later variants of the British Churchill tank. The Pak 40 was much heavier than the Pak 38. Its decreased mobility meant that it was difficult or even impossible to move without an artillery tractor on boggy ground. The Pak 40 was first used in the USSR where it was needed to combat the newest Soviet tanks. It was designed to fire the same low-capacity APK, He and HL projectiles that had been standardized for use in the long-barreled Kampfwagenkanone KWK-40 tank-mounted guns of the mid-war and later marks of the Panzer IV medium tank. In addition, there was an APCR shot, Panzer Granate 40, for the Pak 40, a munition which, reliant on supplies of tungsten, eventually became very scarce. According to the German Panzertruppen News Journal, 5,000 APCR rounds were expected in December 1942 as replenishment for the winter offensive. The main differences amongst the rounds fired by 75mm German guns were in the length and shape of the cartridge cases as well as the primers used. The 7.5 cm KWK-40, 75x495 mm, used in tanks had a fixed cartridge case twice the length of that used by the 7.5 cm KWK-37, the short-barreled 75mm used on earlier tanks, and the 7.5 cm PaK-40 cartridge was a third longer than that used by the KWK-40. The PaK-40 used a percussion primer, while the vehicle-mounted 75mm guns used electrical primers. Other than minor differences with the projectile's driving bands, all German 75mm guns used the same 75mm projectiles. The longer cartridge case of the PaK-40 allowed a larger charge to be used and a higher velocity for the PZGR-39 armor-piercing cap ballistic cap round to be achieved. The muzzle velocity was about 790 m/s, 2,600 feet/s, as opposed to 740 m/s, 2,400 feet/s, for the KWK-40L/43 and 750 m/s, 2,500 feet/s, for the L/48. The only 75mm fighting vehicle gun in general use by Germany that possessed a longer barrel than the PaK-40, the 7.5 cm KWK-42 on the Panther tank, could achieve a higher muzzle velocity of 935 m/s, 3,070 feet/s, on what was essentially the same caliber and model of shell, with a differing propellant cartridge fixed to it for the KWK-42's use. For unknown reasons, some 75mm APC cartridges appear to have been produced with a charge that gave a muzzle velocity of about 770 m/s, 2,500 feet/s. The first documented firing by the US of a PaK-40 recorded an average muzzle velocity of 776 m/s for its 9 most instrumented firings. Probably because of these results, period intelligence publications, Handbook on German Military Forces, gave about 770 m/s as the PaK-40 APC muzzle velocity. Post-war publications corrected this. German sources differ. The official firing table document for the 75mm KWK-40, Stu-K-40, and the PaK-40 dated October 1943, gives 770 m/s on one of the APC tables. General characteristics: caliber, 75mm. Barrel length, L/46. Rifling, 32 grooves, right-hand increasing twist, 1/24 to 1/18. Length with the carriage, 6.2 meters, 20 feet 4 in. Length, 3.70 meters, 12 feet 1.7 in. Width, 2.0 meters, 6 feet 7 in. Height, 1.25 meters, 4 feet 1 in. Weight, combat ready 1,425 kilograms, 3,142 pounds. Traverse, 65 degrees. Elevation, -5 degrees to +22 degrees. Rate of fire, 14 rounds per minute. Engagement range, 1,800 meters, 5,906 feet. Indirect range, 7,678 meters, 25,190 feet, he shell. Projectile weight, 3.18 to 6.8 kilograms, 7 pounds 0.2 ounces to 14 pounds 15.9 ounces. Ammunition: Panzergranate 39, PZGR 39. An armor-piercing, capped, ballistic cap, APC, projectile with explosive filler and tracer. Weight of projectile, 6.80 kilograms, 15 pounds 0 ounces. Muzzle velocity, 790 m/s. Panzergranate 40, PZGR 40. An armor-piercing, composite rigid, APCR, projectile with a subcaliber tungsten core. Weight of projectile, 4.05 kilograms, 8 pounds 15 ounces. Muzzle velocity, 990 m/s. Panzergranate 38HL/B, PZGR 38HL/B. A high explosive anti-tank, heat, projectile with a shaped charge. Weight of projectile, 4.57 kilograms. Muzzle velocity, 450 m/s.
Please subscribe and thanks for watching.